As usual, some representatives of the visiting team on hand when the Blackhawks and the Blues get together. They're not that far apart, these two cities, and it is a terrific meeting every time the Hawks and the Blues lock horns, and we'll have that one right here in just a couple of moments. Welcome in, everybody. Pat Foley, Eddie Olczyk. Glad you're with us for Chicago Blackhawks hockey. And last year, as you're well aware, the Blackhawks penalty killing was a season-long strength. This year, the way the year started, you wondered if it came off the rails. But no, it's been great of late.
Well, they regrouped, Pat. They got some saves when they needed, when they were shorthanded, and especially the other night getting that extra point in the shootout win against Carolina. How about late in the third period? Here's Brent Seabrook. Watch this effort while shorthanded. Win a physical battle, great stick positioning, send it down. And you got to win faceoffs. It wasn't a great night, Pat, for the Hawks faceoff-wise in the game, but how about these two huge wins by Michael Hanzas? That's not the same play as we saw before, folks. That's two different faceoff wins, and oh yeah, you got to be willing to get in that shooting lane and block shots when you're shorthanded. Let's remember, in overtime, Carolina had a 4-on-3 for a full 2 minutes. They probably had two quality chances. Great job by the Blackhawk penalty killers.
Well, the St. Louis Blues, a real formidable opponent. They've been that way ever since Ken Hitchcock, a proven coach, took over. Since he's been there, they've gone 76-33, and this rivalry has intensified.
And the games are so close, Pat, and we can just look what happened 8 days ago when the Blues beat the Hawks with a late goal by Alexander Seen with 21 seconds remaining. So you have to understand the way these games are going to be. The middle of the ice is so important, the area in between the two blue lines. You got to manage the puck, and you got to be able to play without the puck, and you better have your chin strap on a little tighter when you take on the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, no question about it. And if you're a Blackhawks forward, particularly tonight, Joe Quenneville said the St. Louis Blues defense is very active. Better be aware.
And it's such an important part of defending against the St. Louis Blues, because the other night, Pat, when you see guys like Alex Pietrangelo and Kevin Shattenkirk on the ice, as soon as that puck is moving towards the Blackhawk zone, they're looking to jump in and be that second and third wave. So the Blackhawk forwards need to have their head on a swivel, make sure they're always putting themselves in between the defensemen of the Blues and their net.
Yeah, that second wave for St. Louis can be very dangerous. So the Blackhawks get ready to take on their divisional foe one more time, and almost every time these teams meet, it is physical, it is nasty. Most experts think that these are the two that will challenge for the division title. The intensity is ramped up. Then we'll come back and drop the puck right after this.
Get total Bears game day coverage with Comcast Sportsnet. Tune in an hour before each game for Bears pregame live. And after the game, don't miss the interviews and analysis on Bears postgame live. Total game day coverage only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Mining. Go. More adventures await in the Lexus LX, RX, and new 7-passenger GX. Lease the 2013 RX 350 for $399 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
Haz que fluya este ritmo suave. Que no pare.
The Miller Lite Punch Top can. Let it flow. S. Miller time.
All rights to this telecast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Blackhawks is expressly prohibited. Friday nights, your home for high school football scores and highlights is High School Lights, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Each week, CSN brings you the stories behind the season, an inside look at the biggest stars and coaches.
Like I tell the kids, you're going to earn the respect. You earn the respect by winning.
And of course, the can't-miss highlights from Chicagoland and beyond. Every Friday night at 11, your home for high school football is High School Lights, presented by Discount Tire, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Go inside the lives of Chicago's biggest sports stars, only on Inside Look on Comcast Sportsnet. Your questions answered.
I had a great time playing football.
Idols revisited.
I wanted people to know that about my life, not what I did, but who I am.
And the stories behind the headlines revealed.
We feel that our legacy will live forever.
Catch a new interview every month with Inside Look on Comcast Sportsnet. Visit csnchicago.com for listings. Bulls, Pacers, tomorrow night at 7, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Please rise. Kindly remove all hats to honor U.S. Army veteran Specialist 4th Class Dick Hatton, U.S. Navy veteran 2nd Class Ted M. Sweck, and join organist Frank Pellico and soloist Jim Cornelison for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the so gallantly streaming, and the rockets twinkling, down bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh,
Welcome back inside the Madhouse on Madison as we take a look at the Ford goaltending matchup tonight as you see Corey Crawford, who has given up 2 goals or fewer in 3 of his 5 starts. That's some pretty good numbers a season long here in the early going. And at the other end, the numbers for Yaroslav Halak virtually identical to Corey Crawford. When he's been in his team net, they've achieved 8 points. When Crawford has been in his team's net, the Hawks have gotten 7 points. So both these guys have had pretty good starts to their regular seasons. That's Robbie Martell, who's paired up with Brad Meyer as the 2 referees this evening. Andy McElman, the local boy, and Keel Murchison, who is in his 2nd year as an NHL linesman. Got a chance in the NHL last year, and Keel Murchison working here tonight with McElman. And now underway as it quickly is dumped in. Backus out of the corner, spins it out to the line. Pietrangelo, a long flip shot, never got through. Deflected over to the boards for Kane. And he needs some help from Chalmerson.
And this first period of Blackhawk Hockey is brought to you by Chevy and ChevyDriveChicago.com.
Berglund, a good back check on Taves, and now Bouwmeester for St. Louis. Fires a long pass off the skate of Patrick Berglund. Back comes Hossa. Marian Hossa gains the line with a great shot. Blockered away by Halak. Hossa in the corner is checked, but centered it. Keith, and a save, it appeared, by Halak. What a play by Hossa to tee up Keith. That was a wonderful chance right off the hop. Now Keith waits to get organized. Sharp pounds it deep. Barrett Jackman checked by Shaw in the corner. He ran him over. Andrew Shaw delivered a jolt to Jackman.
He broke a stick as well.
And Jackman, now the puck finds him. He's got no cue. And so it'll be dug loose by Saad. Centered it. Peary, the shot. Gonna save Halak, rebound. And Shaw couldn't pry it free as Jackman had hold of him. And now going to give him a face wash. Barrett Jackman has always been a competitive force as a D-man. And when Shaw leveled him, you knew there was going to be some comeback.
What an opportunity. 2 outstanding opportunities for the Hawks here early. Minute 31 in. Saad to Peary. There you see Andrew Shaw looking for that rebound, and Jackman does a good job of not taking a penalty. And here's that big hit. Good, hard hit from Shaw. And then here's that opportunity. Duncan Keith, what a chance. Again, defenseman jumping into play offensively, a theme for tonight.
Pietrangelo up the boards. Oshie needs help. It's cleared to Steen. He moved it across. Here's Bouwmeester getting in. Backus to the net. No, they couldn't get the puck there. Good play by Hjalmarsson, or Backus would have been one-on-one with Crawford. And now a clearing it up, deflecting out of play. Nicholas Hjalmarsson, who had a spectacular night in Carolina the other night. 7 shot blocks. And between he and his D partner, hard to get the puck to the net. Both Hjalmarsson and Oduya with 17 blocks apiece in the early going, and they are leading the Hawks in that area. Pretty good, 34 shot blocks in 6 games. All right, now the Blues try to get in. Sheldon Brookbank jammed up Morrow, then he was hit. And out comes Kruger. Marcus Kruger looking for Nick Leddy. He's got the line. Leddy's wrist shot sticked away by Halak. The rebound to Morrow. He made a good pass, and now the Blues come up. Stewart gets in. Dropped to Shattenkirk's pass. Picked off Brookbank. And Kane the other way. Patrick Kane trying to buy a little time. His mates were changing. Got help from Taves. Donovan Taves tried to set him on deflects. Kane couldn't settle it down. Keith tapped it forward, but picked off by the Blues, and they're able to get back into the Hawk zone. Saboka's long one sticked away by Crawford. And now in behind Seabrook. Made a good pass while he was being checked. Here comes Taves. Taves going to drop it. Here's Keith going to bring it. And he shot it wide to the short side. Rebound Payarvi. Cleared it away for St. Louis.
2 good chances for Duncan Keith early in this game.
Good. Let's keep talking about the Blues D then, if it's going to work out like this. Keith's long pass picked off from Bickle. Good play, Polak. And that goes Seabrook. That's picked off. And Seabrook able to step into Backus, separating him from the puck. It's loose out in the middle. Jackman with a drive. Crawford the save, and the rebound to the boards, where Bickle with a hoister to get it out. Now Roman Polak for St. Louis. Out ahead for Backus. Threw it into the near corner. Oshie tried to center. Backus at a tough angle. Now his pass picked off by Hunses. Good play with a stick on the ice. He got it ahead to Hossa. Hossa's wrister is blocked by Pietrangelo. And picked up by Steen. And now Bouwmeester for the Blues. Going to chase his own chip. In out on Oduya, trying to center. Oduya broke up the pass. Now Tarasenko's had a great start for them. Cleared it to the corner. Schwartz in behind for Berglund. Patrick Berglund hanging on. Trying to slip it in front. Good stick there from Peary, who broke up the pass. Then it's stolen away from Oduya. Here's the center. It's up Berglund. Good save by Crawford. Rebound. It came back to him. He made a second save. It was not a great chance. The first one was great. And Crawford had the answer.
Well, it was a 2-on-1 below the goal line. There's Tarasenko. He wins the battle on Johnny Oduya. Gets a puck to Patrick Berglund. And instead of shooting the puck on the ice, he tries to shoot it up in the air. And right before there was a great chance there from Barrett Jackman. Well, a couple of quality chances after the Hawks had some chances. But the quick play by Tarasenko to Berglund, and then a real good stop back-to-back by Crawford.
Shattenkirk had it blocked. Well, the Blues regroup, and Kevin Shattenkirk looking for a little space. Got a bank pass that Stewart tapped in there deep. Brookbank checked in behind. Support though from Kruger, and the Hawks did not get it out. Stewart again goes down low. There's Derek Roy working against Leddy. And Leddy able to clear it loose. Brandon Bollig, St. Louis native, sends it in. Taken by Leopold to Shattenkirk. And now the Blues, Oshie will hoist it ahead. It bounced all the way to Crawford. He had it, and he lost it, but the referee was on the other side. Didn't see the puck coming free. And that might have cost Steen an opportunity to hoist a backhand.
Yeah, I think that's what the official is talking about, Rob Martel there. Corey Crawford just loses it, and once the referee loses it, you're supposed to blow it down, and that's what he did. Our Hyundai what to look for physical play between these two divisional rivals, and we've seen it already, Pat. Defenseman being active offensively. Duncan Keith with 2 quality chances. Jackman with that chance. Something to keep an eye on both sides of the ice.
Now Bouwmeester cleared it ahead to T.J. Oshie. Steen in against Oduya. Able to knock it loose, and Kane turned it over. Backus lost it back, and now it's going to be taken. Pietrangelo goes down low, looks to center. That one picked off. Out comes Taves. Donovan Taves into the zone, wants Saad. He was well covered. Center just missed Taves with a nice pass attempt. Puck bounced free, and Bouwmeester up for St. Louis. They'll get it in as Seabrook greeted Backus rudely at the blue line with a good open ice check.
Quick little change there, Pat. You had Saad on the left side with Taves and Kane.
Here's Sharp with a blast. Halak gave a rebound. Now able to locate that it had come free, and he will cover it up. Well, whenever the Hawks and the Blues get together, we told you early, it's usually physical, and Seabrook says hello to Mr. Backus.
Welcome back to United Center up at press level. I'm Tracy Myers for CSNChicago.com. The Blackhawks know they have to be more proactive in their third periods, where they've been outscored 8-3 this season. Now they're still winning, but it's been more scrambly than secure. And in our Geico quote, Andrew Shaw said, "I think we're just coming out real hot and then slowing down as the game goes on. We're getting away from what makes us successful." Pat Nettie, back to you.
Thanks, Tracy. And a reminder here, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in the game tonight. It'll be brought to you by Miller Lite. Well, the St. Louis Blues and the Blackhawks, I mean, both have had terrific starts to the year. And incredibly for St. Louis, Eddie, this is their first road game of the season. They started with 5 straight at home. There's no coach that wants to be at home that long. But the last time they played, they ought to have a burr in their saddle tonight. This was a marquee matchup against San Jose, 2 undefeated teams. And Ken Hitchcock said this morning that the Sharks won that game in a near runaway. But Hitchcock said that San Jose hit us. They got us flustered. And then we tried to hit our way back into the game instead of playing our way back into the game. And things did not work out very well that night for St. Louis. Here's Sharp in behind, looking to center one. It's tipped and shot just wide. Then Sobotka back around for Jackman. Duncan Keith in his last 3 games had 3 assists, been a +2. He's going to put this deep. Jackman cleared it. Not out. Handzus working the wall. Now Sharp's got it. Working against Polak. Patrick Sharp leaves it for Marian Hossa. Hossa shoots one. Good save by Halak. That was through a Handzus screen. Now Hossa on the near side. Got help from Keith to Sharp. Looking to center one. It's picked off. And then turned over. Hossa put it in front of drive. They score! Hossa found Peary. And Brandon Peary snapped it home on the short side. The first NHL goal for the kid. And it's 1-0.
Well, congratulations to Brandon Peary. Here he is, but watch where he goes and watch what he does. The puck is going to be moved along the boards. Sharp tries to get it to him. He circles around, gets back into the slot. He stops, stick ready. He beats Halak to the short side. What a pass from Hossa. Congratulations to Brandon Peary. Second good chance tonight, Pat.
Yes. So really, it might be probably 3 shifts maybe, or it might only be a second shift. Right now, back come the Hawks, centering pass picked off. Came loose to Shaw. Peary in the middle of this line between Shaw and Saad. So that's The one lineup change among forwards for Quenneville tonight. Smith out, Peary in. And then on the back end, Roosevelt out. Here's Shaw. Put it to Leddy, who fired it just off the far post, or wide of it, I should have said. Now Peary trying to slip it in front. Side to the goal. He shoots. Big save by Halak. Rebound loose. And it's held in by Brookbank. Put it across to Leddy. His long blast. Kicked away by Halak. And what a shift for this third line of the Hawks. Finally the Blues able to get out. Derek Roy to Stewart. His shot. And that deflected just wide. We just finished what I was starting to say. Brookbank, the one change on defense in place of Roosevelt in Quenneville's lineup tonight. Hawks are changing as Shaw had it taken away at the blue line. Now Chalmerson fires it ahead. It's tapped deep. Lock out to knock it away from Kruger, and now the Blues come loose. Pietrangelo, that looks like an offside play. It is, and the whistle sound.
Well, after taking a 1-0 lead, Brandon Saad gets a real good opportunity. Good right pad save there from Yaroslav Halak, but go back to the goal by Brandon Peary. Good keep in them from Mary Hossa. The turnover by Polak, and then the quick release off the perfect pass from Marian Hossa. Stick was ready, got it in the wheelhouse, and there you see assistant coach Jamie Compon talking to Andrew Shaw and Brandon Peary on the Blackhawk bench. No better feeling, partner. Oh, welcome to the National Hockey League. Getting that first goal.
Chalmerson is a pressure to the corner, had a 2-on-1 there, actually.
Well, the Blackhawks would like to give a very special shout out to a huge Blackhawks fan. Gavin Grube is a young Blackhawks fan in El Paso, Illinois, courageously battling cancer at home tonight. During his last surgery, he wore a jersey and took his stick into the operating room. We wish him nothing but the best, and there's no doubt Gavin is watching as we send him the very best on behalf of all Blackhawk fans and the Blackhawk organization.
Schwartz to Tarasenko, who scored goals in 4 straight games. That one didn't work out, and Nordstrom helped by Keith. Well, the Blues, Polak gets back. Jackman trying to go rink wide. That hit his own man, though, and came the other way. Checked by Jackman. Penalty coming up. And so a power play on the way as it appears the Hawks will be shorthanded when we come back. It's 1-0 Chicago, and Brandon Peary, in just his 9th ever NHL game, has his first big league goal.
Fans, don't miss your chance to catch all the exciting Blackhawks action from in between the player benches. Been on the CME Group seats through the online CME Group seats auction. For more information, visit ChicagoBlackhawks.com. Pat Bay mentioned Hawks shorthanded because of that play right there from Jonathan Toews. That was an awful soft slash, and as long as it's consistent all night long.
And right off a face-off win for the Blues. They have tied the game. A Bouwmeester 55-footer goes in. And St. Louis able to tie it with a power play strike. That took 5 seconds.
Well, we talked about the face-offs in the open, Pat. Michael Hanzus loses this draw. David Backes to Alex Pietrangelo. Backes goes back to the front of the net. And Jay Bouwmeester skating left, shoots back to the right. But again, I go back to the penalty on Toews. An awfully soft call. As long as it's consistent both ways, I think then all the players will, on both sides, will accept what it's going to be. I thought that was a very soft call on Jonathan Toews, but the puck ends up in the back of the net.
Would you suspect that possibly the officials, knowing that it's an intense rivalry, the games are always physical? I mean, is that an attempt to tone set?
I would hope not. Not that play. I mean, it wasn't even near his hands. I mean, it was just across the pant leg. Exactly.
Now Sabotka for the Blues. Lost it, got it back, put it in front. Good stick, Hjalmarsson, or Keith rather. And the puck cleared out to center ice. Pietrangelo threw it back in. And now the Hawks, Taves works his way into the offensive zone, but Bouwmeester right in his way. And then a big hit in behind the net from Brian Bickle. A steal here by Kane, put it to Keith. Got a man down, walks around him, now lets it go. It never got through. And Jaden Schwartz fires it back the other way. It's going to go far enough for icing.
A good heavy hit there by Brian Bickle. They mentioned, Pat, a little bit earlier, Brandon Saad took a shift with Taves and Kane, and then Bickle comes right back and gets a piece of Patrick Berglund.
Well, you sure like to see that, because it's always when he is most effective when he's doing that. And the other night in Carolina, Eddie, 17 minutes for Brian Bickle, no hits, and took that penalty that you referred to in overtime that put the Hawks in a difficult spot, but they were able to get through it. Here's a long shot, Brookbank, that's blocked. And then hit a Blues player, went out of play.
Well, tomorrow night at 11, don't miss the best from this week's high school football action on High School Lights. Comcast Sportsnet combs the Chicagoland to bring you the best of the high school gridiron. High School Lights tomorrow night at 11, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
The draw to Brookbank. His long one hit to Jackman, then bounced back to him. Hossa looks to Leddy. The Blues then are able to clear it to center. And a penalty coming up from the back official. Hans Zeus got tangled up, it appeared, and looks like the Blues are going to go right back to the power play.
Well, Michael Hanzus is pointing at his shoulder when he comes and hits Ryan Reeves. There you see the reaction from Reeves.
Elbowing the call. That's why he was pointing to his shoulder. He said, that's where I hit him with my shoulder. His elbow was down by his waist. Nordstrom able to clear it.
Been a rough night so far for the law firm of Martell, Meyer, Murchison, and McKelman.
The Blues, their power play has been great this year. They now have 7 goals on the power play in their first 5 1/3 games. So the Hawks be tested here in a 1-1 game as Oshie rings it around the boards. Pietrangelo left it. Here's the long shot. Oshie, that deflected wide by Backus. David Backus over to Oshie. Oshie left it. Here's Bouwmeester's long one tip. Oh, that hit the stick of Oduya. Required a stop, and a tough one from Crawford. The Hawks then are able to clear. All right, now the Blues. Steen had it knocked away by Hossa. 45 for the St. Louis power play. Look out in the St. Louis bench. That's out of play.
Well, you get the opportunity to clear that puck down 200 feet as Marcus Kruger did. It allows you to make wholesale changes, get fresh people on the ice. When that puck doesn't get down, sometimes you get guys that have to extend their shifts. Joe Quenneville comes right back with Marcus Kruger, and now Brandon Saad instead of Joakim Nordstrom from that last shift. For that first and third rotation coming back with Kruger and a combination of Nordstrom and Saad.
Roy had his pocket picked by Kruger. And there'll be one final power play rush here for the visitors. Shattenkirk picks his way and then rings it around. Oduya helped by Taves in the corner. It came free to Hjalmarsson. On his backhand, he couldn't get it by Tarasenko. Now Now he'll have another chance. And he ran out of time. Meanwhile, the Hawks penalty, though, over. Both teams full strength. And Taves' pass was batted out of midair. The Hawks left to regroup. Oduya rolled it loose. Handzus lost it at center. Blues Sobotka weaving back into the zone. Sobotka's shot and a good glove save by Corey Crawford. The Blackhawks and the Blues get to the late part of the first are tied.
Time now for our EA Sports NHL 14 Spotlight. We're going to zero in on the bench bosses. Coach Q and Ken Hitchcock. A little in common, partner. Both in the 600 win area code. A couple of Stanley Cups for Coach Q, one for Ken Hitchcock, and both coaches of the year for the St. Louis Blues.
Well, I mean, everything that you just showed us that has proven that over a long, long stretch, these are two of the best in the business. All right, the draw in the Chicago zone is taken by the Blues. Leopold put it in deep. Jaden Schwartz rolled it back. Then has it again. Schwartz, his long one is blocked. Hossa able to eventually bounce it out. And now the Blues veteran Leopold looks to move up the ice. Shattenkirk forced to circle, put it on the stick of Steen. Alexander Steen dumped it in. Leddy goes up the middle to Handzus. He then bounced it just out of the reach of Hossa, and icing is ruled.
We're going to go to our Xfinity Telestrator, and the Blackhawks in the middle of the ice. Look at, they're trying to get the St. Louis Blues and funnel them into one area so everybody knows exactly where they're going. They have no pressure, so they got 5 guys back in the middle of the ice. Good job there by Michael Handzus. You're not going to run right at that guy, because once you do that, they're going to pass by you and attack. So the Blackhawks working in tandem beautifully in the middle of the ice. We talked about it, how important it is to make sure you're playing that well against a good offensive transition team like St. Louis in the middle of the ice.
Pietrangelo able to get that one through Leddy. Now it's cleared into the zone. Here's a chance for Oshie. Got around Chalmerson, just lost it as he tried to pull it to his forehand. And the Hawks dodge a bullet there from a very dangerous Blues forward. And the St. Louis offense this in the early stages has been terrific. Here they come with Paajarvi. His shot blocked by Chalmerson. It's out of play.
What an opportunity there. The former Edmonton Oiler Magnus Paajarvi gets the puck to TJ Oshie, and he just loses it, and then Paajarvi gets a chance. Chalmerson had no stick, got a piece of it, and then it went off of Corey Crawford. I mean, that was a difficult stop. Outstanding stop by that man right there, Corey Crawford. Paajarvi came over in that trade with Edmonton, Pat David Perron.
And maybe just importantly, the Blues got a second-round pick, too, so get a top 60 guy when in that transaction. All right, now Nordstrom for the Hawks gave it to Keith, and Bollig was way offside. But I mentioned the Blues offense, and no, they've only played 5 games, but I mean they're averaging over 4 goals a game. And Ken Hitchcock said this morning, I mean, that's our offense been even better than we had hoped. This is a group that doesn't really rely on necessarily a top 6. I mean, he thinks he's got a top 9. It's sort of offense by committee, but you know, along those lines, they've got 3 guys that have 4 goals in the first 5 games. Steen, Backus, and the kid Tarasenko all have scored 4 goals in their first 5 games. The Hawks, Patrick Kane is the only 4-goal sniper so far for Chicago.
Still think they're short a goal scorer, Pat, like a finisher.
Well, that Hitchcock was talking about that this morning, that you know, the Hawks just have more game breakers when you say Sharp or Hossa or Taves or Kane. You know, guys that can single-handedly turn things around with a miraculous play.
And all they need is one chance, right?
Yeah.
Put it in. Good play there from Bickle.
And back comes Shaw. Got it into Taves. Look for Shaw. Tip good save by Halak. A sweet redirect by Shaw, who digs it back out. Brookbank to Keith. And to send it around the wall. Now Taves battling Bouwmeester. And Pietrangelo there to come up with it. And they dump back into Chicago ice.
There you go. Peary, Kane, and Saad right now, Pat.
Already a couple of slight changes for Quenneville here in the opening period. Hawks have had 13 shots up till now. Here comes Schwartz. Moves in, shooting. Oh, he just missed the near post. It's held in by Jackman. Now Sabotka cleared it into the corner. Schwartz in on Leddy. Good stick there by Leddy. And out comes Brandon Peary, the Blackhawks goal scorer. Peary flipped it to the other side. The Blues able to get it out. Here's Oduya. Hawks are changing here as he tries to pull his way to the net, but Polak prevented that. And Backus, who was credited by the way with the Blues goal. I'm not sure if we pointed that out yet, but the long shot from Bouwmeester, they say, was tipped by Backus, so he got credit for their goal. Here's Oshie moving in for Steen. Knocked away by Hjalmarsson. And 90 seconds remaining in the first period. Crawford, a near misplay. Oshie against Hjalmarsson in the corner. Oshie won the puck. Dropped it back. Here's a chance for Shattenkirk. He walks and wires, and he had it deflect wide. And it's going to be held in at the line. Leopold put it up the boards. Backus centered. Steen well covered. Spins. Trying to backhand it was off the mark. Again, Backus dropped it out to Leopold. Hossa got to him and cleared it.
Great stick there from Hossa, much needed too. Now Shattenkirk goes offside because Steen could not get out of his zone. That was a big play there. That was a long, tiring shift for Marian Hossa, and he had his stick in a perfect spot, was able to get a change. A little line juggling going on by Coach Q. Andrew Shaw, give and go with Jonathan Taves. Stick on the ice. Great little pass there from Jonathan Taves, and a sneaky good save from Yaroslav Halak.
Kruger sends it in. Bouwmeester shot it back the other way, and this is going to be icing against the Blues.
Well, nominate your favorite youth hockey player, coach, or volunteer for the chance to be recognized on the ice prior to a Hawks game. The winners also win 4 100-level tickets, a plaque honoring their accomplishments, and the opportunity to watch a Blackhawks practice and meet some players. Visit ChicagoBlackhawks.com to nominate someone today.
Face-off win, Chicago. Keith, no lane there. Bickle in the corner. Left it for Taves. Who got pushed down by Bouwmeester. And Taves got it back. He's checked by Berglund, and now in the corner, Bickle bringing it around. Schwartz cleared it out to center for Berglund. But Seabrook got back, and that will bring us to the end of the opening 20 minutes tonight. The Hawks outshoot the Blues 13-8 in the first 20 minutes this evening. And a big night for the man you just saw, Brandon Peary. After some early physicality, opened the scoring 7.5 minutes in, set up by Hossa, his first ever NHL goal. It was answered by a Backus redirect.
Well, Blackhawk fans, remember to bring your Blue Cross and Blue Shield card to all Blackhawk home games for a chance to be a part of the Blue Cross upgrade experience. Carry the card that gives you benefits wherever you are. Blue Cross, through it all. Welcome back to the United Center. 1-1 after one. That means ones are wild. We get ready for the second period. Time now for our Illinois Lottery Anything's Possible statistic. And congratulations on the Blackhawks 2,500 win Tuesday night at Carolina, and you see where it compares to the other original 6 teams in the National Hockey League. Pat, you've called probably what, like 2,333 of those?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but called a fair number of them, but I never scored a game-winning goal. How many GWGs did you contribute? And you played for a couple of the teams on that list.
I played for 3 of them.
3 of them, that's right. 3 out of 6.
I'll say game-winning goals out of all those teams: the Rangers, the Leafs, and the Beloved. I'll say probably 22.
Nice.
Regular season, yeah, I'd say 22.
All right, well, you know the great Dave Ross is checking on that in the truck, our terrific stats guy, and I anticipate a graphic coming up shortly.
Now remember, there was no video replay back then, so there were some guys that took some of my game-winning goals.
All right, underway in the second now.
And the second period of Blackhawk hockey is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
All right, it's put into Chicago ice, where Oduya, pressured by Oshie, dug away by Steen, with the Hawks able to regain control. Andrew Shaw up the ice. Oh, it's Shaw with Kane and Bickle. With the Taves and Bickle, excuse me. Now it's in behind the net. And Chalmerson for Pietrangelo. So, really, Eddie, we talked about some juggling from Coach Q, really in the middle stages of that first period. Patrick Kane, a couple of shifts, was not on the ice with Taves, and you wondered the other night how long the combo, they were maybe the last duo to not be broken up, and now in a stretch of this game, they have been separated. Here's Hossa working down low. He's checked by Polak. And Seabrook a good keep. Jackman on the other side.
Much more difficult to check when those guys are separated, Pat. I mean, it really does. It puts pressure on.
Oh, here's Hossa going to chase down a loose puck. He's going to get to the net, shooting. Polak made his second good save of the game against Marian Hossa.
A good anticipation there from Marian Hossa, getting a step on the Blues defense. Brent Seabrook just pounding that puck around the boards. Polak with good positioning. Just exit the zone, and then there goes Big Hoss. Left-handed shot coming down those right wing boards, and no second chance opportunity. Just finishing that thought, Pat. I mean, just much harder for teams to defend when those 2 guys, Taves and Kane, are apart. Yes, they have magic together. Just a little different look, and
long shot fought off by Crawford with a blocker.
It makes other guys, I think, a little bit more dangerous when those guys are separated and they're on the ice.
All right, Kane's got the puck now, going to feather it into some ice, hoping for Saad, who could not quite get there. O'Keefe turned it over. Here's Morrow. His shot was tipped wide by Keith. Looks to Peary. Now Kane takes over. Pass did not connect with Saad. Picked up by Bouwmeester. Well, the Hawks able to get it in there, and Jay Bouwmeester was pressured by Kruger, but Pietrangelo there to help out for the Blues. send it back into the Hawks zone. Going to be icing St. Louis here.
Pat, here's a teaching point. All you young hockey players out there, I want you to keep an eye on right here. Look at Brandon Bollig. He has this puck. Now watch. Watch what happens. The left part of your screen. Here comes Ryan Reeves. See how he just holds on to him and he doesn't hit him? That's respect. That's a smart play by Ryan Reeves. We see too many players at all levels decide they're going to go ahead and drive a guy from behind. It's a dangerous play. Good job there by Ryan Reeves to understand that that player's in a bad position.
Crawford got turned around here. Now Brookbank didn't like the contact. Then Backes with a steal. And Payarvi, who had gotten close to Crawford, and they both brought up down. Now heads quickly for a change for the Blues.
And Crawford did not look comfortable there, Pat, when he lost his balance. Very unbalanced, getting taken down there. There should be icing here against St. Louis.
It is.
Well, Corey Crawford went behind the net to play this puck, and it slowed up there, Pat. Actually, I think Crawford might have initiated that contact there when he was going for the puck, and then he realizes that he wasn't going to be able to get to it. I think he was trying to set up a little interference there on Payarvi. And as you mentioned, Pat, there you saw the stick of Brookbank.
Anderson's attempt here is blocked. Sharp tried to center. The attempt from Hossa never got through either, and Backes comes out. Goes to this corner, hoping for Steen. He got it. Steen for Oshie, right in. Good save, point blank by Crawford. And the Hawks able to clear the zone. And Alexander Steen, he checked right at the line. Sharp the other way, but did not connect with Kane on the pass attempt. Blues get back in. A pass in front. Steen a shot. And a save by Crawford. And he's able to hang on.
Well, Sundays are built for Bears football on Comcast Sportsnet. The most comprehensive Bears game day coverage from a Chicago perspective on Bears pregame live at 11 a.m. and after every Bears game. Don't miss Bears postgame live on Comcast Sportsnet. You get Chris Bowden, you get Jim Miller, and you get Jigs. You get Dan Jiggets. Bears postgame live presented by Nissan right after the Bears game, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Saab looking to walk in, but the puck escaped him, and Tarasenko pushed it loose. Jaden Schwartz carries it in, dropped it back, a long shot. Leopold fought off by Crawford. Rebound back to the near post, and the Hawks able to jam it free. Now Saad got it out to Kane. Patrick Kane sends it deep. Leopold helped by Berglund.
Good play by Perry there to knock that puck out of midair.
And the Blues have it back, and Schwartz has room on left wing. A long wrist shot, blockered away by Crawford. It's up off the netting, so a whistle. One of the offseason pickups for the Blues, Derek Roy, who's been a pretty good point producer for a long time in this league. And boy, you know, you look at the Blues up the middle between Roy, Backes, and Berglund. All three of those guys have had a point in every game but one for the St. Louis Blues. So a lot of depth on the St. Louis offense, even though they may not have as many game breakers as the Blackhawks have. It's kind of a scoring by committee approach. Most teams talk about their top 6 in terms of offense. Hitchcock talks about his top 9. Nordstrom couldn't get that one cleanly to the net, so Halak will hang on to it.
Just not having that premier game breaker. It is going to be by committee right now for the St. Louis Blues. And again, they talk about the matchups, Pat. Now here Joel Quenneville comes back with Bickell, Taves, and Kane. So double shift here for Kane. He only had a quick breather. Yes. Now he's back on the ice.
But Oshie came off the boards with the puck. Steen will be met by Oduya, who jammed it loose right to Kane. He sends Taves out for Bickle on left wing and up Pietrangelo on the wrist shot. He fired it wide. Rebound taken by the Blues, but they couldn't get very far. And that's going to be an offside play.
Well, from the makers of the 2013 Blackhawks Stanley Cup ring, the Jostens Blackhawks Championship fan collection is on sale right now. Make the celebration last a lifetime with the keepsakes for men and women. Visit ChicagoBlackhawks.com to order your collection today.
Right now, the Hawks look to move from their own end. Hossa. Back pressure from Reeves. Then Hossa got it back with a shot attempt, but it's off the stick and up off the netting. So the whistle goes. And it's early in the second period with the Hawks and the Blues even. Ken Hitchcock stands behind the St. Louis bench. A change in his lineup tonight. We mentioned the name Payarby a couple of times. He's in because that goofball is out. Eddie told you a couple minutes ago about the respect shown by Ryan Reeves with a situation where he's coming to a guy from behind and let up on him. This man didn't. He's going to have an in-person hearing tomorrow, which usually means at least a 5-game suspension. I kind of hope it's more, but, Dan Boyle hurt on the play. And from anybody who has seen that particular infraction, the theme is always the same. Stuff like that doesn't belong in the game.
He had a hit last week, Pat, 8 days ago when the Hawks were in St. Louis on Andrew Shaw. He took a penalty for it. It was, a similar play as I showed right before there with Reeves and Bollig. He took the penalty, a hit from behind. It'll be interesting to see which way Brendan Shanahan goes. And I would agree the number you mentioned for Maxim Lapierre, 5 games.
Pietrangelo able to shield it nicely against a sharp forecheck, and Sobotka trying to battle his way up the boards. It didn't get out. But the Blues able to maintain control, and Bouwmeester has some skating room. Keith back. A little bit quickly to Kane. He's hit hard. Old Jackman had him lined up, and he hit him just in that dangerous area, a couple of feet from the boards. Barrett Jackman with a cheap hit on Patrick Kane. And just as the puck arrived, so did Jackman, but he's really kind of in that no man's land, just a couple of feet from the boards. A very dangerous hit, and you see Kane still down.
Yeah, when that hit happened, it was the whiplash effect on Patrick Kane that I noticed from sitting way up top here at the United Center. Watch the head of Patrick Kane, the hit and then the neck. That's where it was a dangerous hit there. Jackman steps up, no chance for Kane to protect himself.
St. Louis penalty, minor penalty for
and his helmet too as well. Boy, it's a good thing too that he had that chin strap on there, Pat. Because with the way that the helmet and the shield popped up, if that chin strap is not done up tight, that helmet goes up, and who knows? Watch the helmet. Watch the shield right there. That thing stays right on. And again, just from that vantage point, it looks like it catches a lot of helmet. But we've been talking a lot about it here, Pat.
Yep.
And it wasn't, and the key on that, it wasn't that hard by Barrett Jackman. But it doesn't have to be hard to cause damage in the aspect of whiplash or putting somebody and hitting them from behind. No chance to protect themselves in that situation. I think it's the right call. No question a penalty on Barrett Jackman.
You think it's just a minor?
Yeah, I think so. I think just two.
Here's a chance for Kane. A shoulder save by Halak. Rebound back to Keith at the line. Held it in for Kane. He moves in. Shooting. Shot it wide. Al Sharp kept it in there. Then lost it, and the Blues able to clear the zone.
Keep an eye on St. Louis. They like to cheat sometimes.
Well, they
get an opportunity.
They must be cheating too much lately because their PK's been lousy. 3 straight games they've given up goals, usually multiples. Here's a chance for Keith. Centered it. Oh, he's hoping for a Taves redirect. Didn't get it. Now Sharp's blast. That missed. Taken by Keith. Pounds it around to Kane. Now Sharp for Keith. Lets it go. Shot it wide. And it's going to be held in by Sharp. Across for Keith. And then he lost it. The Blues, though, talking about their PK, in the last 3 games, they have given up 7 power play goals against. 7 out of 14 have been cashed in against this Blues special team.
A couple of good teams in there, too. The team that's got the power play right now, and also San Jose on the extra man.
The Hawks down to half a minute of power play time. Leddy moved it ahead. Hossa lost it as he got in. Now Seabrook. Into a move it ahead. Brandon Saad with a drag move. Couldn't get rid of an attempt, though, and that will finish the St. Louis penalty. Both teams at full strength. So Leddy carries. He wanted Shaw but missed him. Blues get back in. Schwartz centered it. A bouncing puck. Hacked away by Crawford. Then he's actually able to hang on to it. That could have been a real good chance, point blank for Stewart. But he couldn't put a fork in it.
Hawks not able to get that puck in deep. The quick transition defense to offense. And nice play there from Jaden Schwartz to get the puck. That bouncing puck to Chris Stewart. Chalmerson played it well. And a good back check there. Great back check there from Nick Leddy. That great skating ability allowed him to get back defensively and put a little pressure on Chris Stewart.
Now Leopold is sent in behind. Roy needs help from Stewart. He dropped it to Leopold. He mishandled it back to center. Near steal by Nordstrom, but who's able to maintain control? Chris Stewart put it in. Brookbank up the boards for Bolig. And that rush broken up as the Hawks are ruled to be offside. We've reached the midway point of the game. Chicago and St. Louis tied. Back to West Madison Street, we take a look at our Kia drive to the net, and we asked the question a little bit ago of my partner, how many game-winning goals for original 6 teams that he had, and he said 22. And come on, were you really counting? Those are terrific numbers, and that's really something. I mean, 22 game-winning goals just for those teams. I'm sure you had a few more in Winnipeg, and
I had a few in Winnipeg.
All right,
I had a few. But that one in overtime was pretty cool.
Well,
Detroit, at Detroit, playing for the Leafs.
Yeah,
finished off a hat trick in overtime, like 30 seconds into the game.
Well, and the great Dave Ross, who we know has every stat at his fingertips. He tells me that in your career, Eddie, 37 game-winning goals in the regular season, far more in the postseason. So kudos to a man who put up some pretty nice numbers in a distinguished NHL career.
All with a wood stick, by the way, all you young hockey players out there. And you elder skatesmen. Sometimes I get the older men and women hockey players yelling at me that we never give them a shout out. So there you go.
I had a woman say to me that day, just a couple of days ago, hey, what about us grandmothers? She's still out there playing. God bless her.
That's it.
Right now, Kane ringing it around. Oduya. Bounce it to center. Blackhawks in this period have had 2 shots on goal in the first 11 minutes. The Blues have had 5, so really not a lot of dominant shifts for either side offensively.
Right.
Zone time has been sporadic. Kane looking to change that. Goes rink wide. Was at the feet of Oduya. Center one tip and a save by Halak. He's able to put the mitt down quickly. Just as Bickle was ready to try to stuff one home, a quick glove from Halak. Got down to cover.
Well, point-wise, it's been tough for Brian Bickle. Only 1 assist in the first 6+ games here, but you want to get opportunities. You want to create offensive opportunities. Continue to go to that area of the net. No flybys. Put the brakes on. Stop in front of the net, and you're going to get rewarded. And that's exactly what he did, Pat. So good job there, and a real good play by Oduya to pick up that pass, as you mentioned.
The face-off win. Handzus, a long shot, got tipped just wide. And the puck cleared to center. Berglund had it knocked away. And now Keith has to turn back the youngster Tarasenko. Unable to reach it for the Blues. And Keith now moves forward and missed on a pass. Going to be icing. Now, normally it's physical when these two teams get together.
In the last meeting, Pat, we talked about it. There's that hit from behind from Max Lapierre and Andrew Shaw, a 2-minute penalty. And then Tuesday night against San Jose, we showed the graphic a little bit earlier. The hit from behind on Danny Boyle. And then tonight, Barrett Jackman on Patrick Kane. Again, the whiplash effect. And on top of those, we showed the one where Ryan Reeves showed the respect on Brandon Bollig right in front of the Blackhawk bench and understanding. Look, sometimes, Pat, we talk about it a lot. Sometimes players put themselves in that position where they turn when the player's about to come hit them. You don't want to do that.
Patrick Sharp with Hossa heading for the net. The pass was jammed up in the middle of the ice, and Roy the other way. Dropped it to Stewart. Gets up the middle, but could not pull the trigger. Good back pressure from Peary into Shaw. Now Shaw gets it into the zone, but could not pull the trigger.
Hawks got to get more pucks to the net. They're trying to be too pretty, too fine going board to board. There has to be more direction towards the goaltender, Yaroslav Halak. Then that might create second and third chance opportunities.
And Eddie, really, I mean, kudos, a tip of the hat to both teams. I mean, the back pressure when the puck enters the offensive zone, there's no time to do much of anything, it seems like. There's a long flip shot that's blocked out in front and deflects out of play.
That's a great point. I mean, you're going straight ahead, but you got to worry about people coming on your backside. I mean, look at that. There's that play from Andrew Shaw coming all the way back. Good help from Peary. Good help from Andrew Shaw. Now the Hawks are going back the other way. But again, they had an opportunity to fire it directly towards the net. And Andrew Shaw tried to put that puck over to Brandon Peary. And when there isn't a lot of ice, you got to go the opposite way. Behind the play, you got Sobotka and Kruger.
But now they're back into things, and Nordstrom moves on Leopold. Arby hacked it loose. Kruger rings it around. Nordstrom needs help. Bollig got there and cleared the zone. Sobotka put it deep. Leddy got knocked down on the end boards by Sobotka. And we're going to have a penalty coming up against Sobotka for St. Louis. So the Hawks get the 6th attacker on. Bickle into the zone. Works his way to the corner, but his pass going to be picked off, and that will stop the play for a whistle.
Well, the forecheck by Vladimir Sobotka. He gets his stick up right there on Nick Leddy. And there you see Leddy drops his stick, reaches for his mouth.
St. Louis penalty number 17, a minor penalty for high sticking.
Well, the Hawks now in their last 3.5 games have gone 1 out of the last 13 on the power play. Looking for a conversion to grab the lead here. Steen and Taves. And Steen able to pull that draw back. By the way, this is notable because it hardly ever happened this way. In Carolina the other night, Jonathan Taves was 6 and 15 at the dot. You might not see him always win more than 50%, but he rarely gets dominated like that. There's Pietrangelo looking to clear. Good keep, Keith. Fine, sharp, around and check, cuts in, looking to center, but out of the reach of Taves. And it bounced away from Keith and out. .75 for the Hawks power play. Sharp fires it around. Pietrangelo bothered by Bickle.
Good job there by Bickle.
Puck loose and Berglund got it. He's going to carry it all the way into the offensive zone and shoot one right on, and a save by Crawford, who plays it to Keith. Now Kane gains the zone. Hosa's got it. He left it for Kane. Patrick Kane spins to his backhand, put it out to Keith. To Letty with a one-timer, well wide, and it bounced all the way out. Hosa back in there. Able to push away one checker while controlling the puck. That was beautiful work by Hosa. Now he got to Seabrook. Back to Letty. We got Shaw to the front of the net. Here's Seabrook going to bring it. And a save by Halak. Doesn't know where it is. And it's apparently in his paraphernalia. Halak had that one just hit him in traffic. It looked as if he was searching for it, but it was still locked up in him.
And you had Andrew Shaw standing right in front, and then he got lassoed by Roman Polak right in front of the net. Brent Seabrook walks right in, and there you see the battle in front of the net, and there's Roman Polak. Now Shaw does a good job here of mirroring. Just went a little bit too far there and allowed Halak to see that last chance.
Oduya's long one blocked by Backus. Now the Blues penalty over. Both teams full strength. Hjalmarsson lost it on the boards to Schwartz. Sobotka on the other side. Now a long flip shot is deflected up high and dumped down to Hjalmarsson for Shaw. Long one picked up by Saad. His drive is off a stick and up and out of play. The score remains 1-1. Goals from Peary for Chicago, Backus for St. Louis.
Hey, there's Jimmy Butler of the Bulls. Be our celebrity. Shoot the puck contestant in between a second and third period. A little help there from Blackhawk front office staff man Brian Dahm. I think Jimmy's looking for a little help right now down there.
He was looking at the kid in the jersey.
Oh, was he? Okay,
oh, yeah,
all right.
Okay. Smart.
Going to school.
Yeah,
going to school. I think you just pick it up and shoot it in there. Or throw it in there, whatever.
All right, offense has been hard to find here in the second period. Each goalie's made a couple of saves, but it's certainly been anything but wide open. And we are still even at 1. Hjalmarsson sends Taves up the ice, fights through a check in, now carries it into the zone. Jonathan Taves with a snapshot off the side of the goal. To Backus. Now held in Hjalmarsson. But his pass picked off. And back goes Nick Hjalmarsson. He turned it over. Jackman steps in, but Hjalmarsson jammed up that rush out there to catch the Blues in a change. Hosa's in alone, shooting, he scores! A terrible change by the St. Louis Blues, and Marian Hosa
we always talk a lot about it. The second period, the long change. The Blues are going to think about going for a change. They don't get the puck in deep. The turnover, and next thing you know, it's a 2-on-0. Hossa and Sharp and Big Hoss decide, you know what? I'm going to let a half slapper go right between the right arm and the right hip of Yaroslav Halak. Well, that's the way to get some offense. Yeah. Bad change. What a release.
Now the Blues able to get it in deep. Morrow put it into the corner. Now Roy looking to center that hit the side of the net, and Hossa's clearing attempt came back to him. Hossa able to fight off one check and clear it into the blue zone, and this is going to be icing Chicago.
Well, the quick turnover transition. Hjalmarsson to Marian Hossa. Head up all the way, and then the quick snapshot. And the reaction from Marian Hossa.
All right, now the Blues get the draw. Bouwmeester looking for a lane. He tried a long one. Tip. They score. It might have been tipped twice. Backes was near the front of the net, and what appeared to be a double deflection has tied the game for St. Louis.
I couldn't agree with you more, partner. I believe it might have went off of David Backes to the right part of your screen. There's the shot, the high redirect, the shot from Bouwmeester. 1, 2, and then off the left skate of David Backes. Or maybe even the stick of Duncan Keith.
Actually, when I first saw his foot, you wonder if it was kind of a kicking motion, but I'm not sure it made contact with Backes, so we'll see what the official call is.
Yeah, it looked like it got in behind David Backes, and it went off the stick of Duncan Keith. I believe was that Steen that redirected that first shot, Pat?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, so I think it should be Alex's Steen goal. Now watch, the shot is deflected. Now stop it right here. It's going to go through, and then watch Duncan Keith. It gets through the legs of Backes right there. It either goes off the stick or the right skate of Duncan Keith, I believe, on that look.
But now the game has been stopped. Ordinarily the puck would have been put in play by now, but this is a video review play, so they're going to take a look at it here in Chicago and in the War Room in Toronto just to make sure. Because when I first saw the initial replay, just the movement of Backes' skate, you wondered about whether that was a good goal, but it appeared, we've seen a couple looks at it, that it never did make contact with the skate, which if that's the case, it's going to be a tie game. So the chat with referee Meyer and the War Room is complete. Let's listen.
After reviewing the play, the call on the ice stands, we have a good goal.
Even though it was Backes who created a lot of traffic trouble.
It looked like it went off of Duncan Keith.
Yeah, not very likely it's going to be his goal, and the Blues have tied things up. And they do give credit to Steen on the goal.
Great job by our crew to have all those looks.
Now a long wrist shot puckered away by Crawford. Taken now by Keith.
Joe Quenneville going back to the way that he started the game, Pat, here the last, 5 minutes, 6 minutes?
Yeah.
As far as the forward lines?
Yes. And now Seabrook sends it in there. Shaw. Now it's taken away by Berglund, who just pushed Perry right out of the way, got the puck. And Berglund cleared it ahead. Now a lead pass out of the reach of Oshie, who chased it down. And they work along the wall. Finally, Peary got it to Saad. And then Saad stripped of a good poke check to Petrangelo. Down to half minute remaining in the second. And icing coming up here against the Blues, which gives me a chance for a quick shout out to a good friend of yours and mine, Eddie, the great Chef Hans. Doesn't miss many hockey games, but he's missing one tonight because he is being inducted into the Chicago Culinary Museum Chef's Hall of Fame.
Attaboy, Chefy.
All right, so hopefully the speech will be in English tonight, but and as only Chef Hans can do, I heard he was on the radio the other day talking about his induction, and he said, yeah, Cliff Coral's going to introduce me. Stan wasn't available, so Cliff's going to do it. All right, here's Taves. It bounced loose. He got it back. Seabrook with 10. Now Keith. Couldn't find a lane. Seabrook looking for one. A long wrist shot and a save. It might have hit some traffic in front. Kane loose. Kane will run out of time. And the second period is over. The Blues in the second got 8 shots on goal. The Blackhawks got 5. And in 40 minutes, it's 18 for Chicago and 16 for St. Louis. Marian Hossa staked the Hawks to a 2-1 lead. And just a couple of minutes after that, really about a minute and a half after that, Alexander Steen with a redirect. Welcome back to downtown Chicago, where the Hawks and the Blues will head to the third period all tied up. We get a chance to talk to Blackhawks assistant coach Jamie Kompon, especially in that second period. Jamie, looked like offense was tough to come by. Let's talk about your team defense. Have you been happy with the way you guys have performed to try to protect your own net?
Well, that's not, yeah, we have been happy with the way we've only given up a few chances here. A couple of them ended up in the back of the net, but we have to worry about getting through the neutral zone. That's their game. Clog up the neutral zone, get those quick counters, get it behind us and go to work. And we played right into their hands that period. For the most part, it was a neutral zone game. We played ping pong for most of it. We dumped it in, they dumped it out, we dumped it in. It was just, we got to get it behind them, get speed to the puck, and we just played into their hands that period.
Hey, Jamie, up here, it seems like a couple of times, probably 3 to 4 times in that second period, you had opportunities just to fire the puck to the net, moving it more north and south instead of going east-west. Is that a fair assessment from up top?
That's a great assessment, Enzo. We want to get more pucks to the net, more action at the net. We've got net drive going, and we're trying to make the better play. There's no better play than getting to the puck to the net right now.
How would you term the intensity level in what is usually a pretty intense game up till now?
It's not like the St. Louis-Chicago rivalry that we've had earlier.
All right. Well, I appreciate a couple of minutes, Jamie. Good luck here in the third.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jamie.
All right, now underway in period 3.
And the third period of Blackhawk Hockey is brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Honda dealers.
An immediate icing call against Chicago.
We had the over-under at 7, so 8 seconds into the third period. Don't forget, Saturday night, 6 o'clock start. One of those great 6 o'clock starts here at the United Center. Hawks and Maple Leafs.
Petrangelo trying a long one, fought off Crawford, rebound Backus, and it just escaped him as he was ready to fire. Back comes Kane. Patrick Kane unable to dance away from a check, and now the Blues get back. Out for the quick change, half a minute into the period. And out comes Oshie. DJ Oshie works his way in deep. Leaves it for Patrick Berglund. He spins it back to Shattenkirk. Berglund to the other side. Leopold drop pass, didn't find anybody home. Hossa looking to chase down a loose puck, couldn't quite get to it, and icing will be whistled here. Now here's a stat the Hawks would like to work on a little bit. In the third period, things have not gone according to plan. Well, they're hoping to get a scratch here in the third period, get rid of that goose egg in final frame work. Now here's Schwartz looking to move in, his shot deflecting out of play. Well, tomorrow, we mentioned that the Blues incredibly have not played a road game until tonight. Tomorrow they're scheduled to be in Winnipeg. And right after that, they're going to go down to Charleston, South Carolina for some bonding and team building and those types of things a lot of teams try to do. And one of the reasons they're going to that area of the country is that man, a Civil War historian. I mean, he is a freak for history. And not far from Charleston, where the Blues are going to be staying, is Sumter. And Sumter was the site of one of the great Civil War battles. And when Hitchcock gets to Sumter, there will be only 2 other major Civil War battles where he has not visited the site. So he really loves history, and certainly the Civil War history that he has studied very closely. Well, that's pretty amazing that all the big battles that happened in the Civil War, he's been to every one of them but 2.
A pretty big bucket list.
That's right. Face-off win by the Blues. Here's a long clip shot. Crawford got a tiny piece on the short side. Penalty coming up as the stick seemed to get Brookbank, and we're going to check to see whether Sheldon Brookbank's been cut.
The stick of Brendan Morrow. Well, right off the face-off. Corey Crawford made a terrific stop off this face-off. Right there, he makes it. There goes Brendan Morrow, and there catches Sheldon Brookbank right in the face. Accidental, but you got to be in control. 2-minute penalty.
Taves able to win the draw. Here's Keith. Kane, checked by Steen. Blues able to win the board battle. And back comes Sharp on the stick of Taves. Taves able to get things set up. Now Kane's got it. Fickle at the top of the crease. Keith to Sharp with a one-timer. Pad save by Halak. Sharp kept it in for Kane. Patrick Kane waiting. Centered it. Sharp, that was kind of off the heel of his stick. And a takeaway by Jackman. 70 for the Chicago power play as both teams have changed. Here comes Saad to Hossa. Hossa gets things set. Shaw to the front of the net. Puck bounce high into the air to Sobotka. Now Saad gains the zone, but it's a Leddy. He had his pass go off a skate.
That hurt Polak.
Yes, he is limping a little bit now. Here's Leddy. Ahead for Saad. Back to Seabrook. Here it comes. And a save by Halak. Rebound. Oh, went right through the skates of Brandon Saad. Now Hossa spins it back to Seabrook. 15 for the man advantage. Leddy's got it. Lets it go. That never got through. And Polak, who had been stung earlier in the shift, still willing to make a shot block in that sequence. Here's Saad with a keep. Hossa to Leddy. He'll look back to Hossa, who won, and Seabrook in the pass broken up, the penalty over. Both teams full strength. The Hawks now are 0 out of 3 on their power play tonight. And then 1 out of the last 15. Bowling moves in, shooting, and a save made by Halak. Bowling looking for help from Kruger. Dropped it to Brookbank. The Blues, Pietrangelo able to clear the zone. Now the Blues try to move in. Schwartz made a good pass and just jumped away from Sobotka, though, but he held on to it. Dropped it back. Here's Pietrangelo. The centering attempt didn't find Tarasenko. Puck now picked up by the Blues. Pietrangelo keeping it in as they're changing.
All 5 players for the Blues headed off right after that misplay by Pietrangelo.
Hayes. Spinning on Shattenkirk. Taves to the forehand. Now dropped it to Kane. Bickle's out in front. The puck just jumped over his blade, though. And the race is on. Stewart against Hjalmarsson. Chris Stewart hangs on center. And it's deflected away from Roy. And then Zeus got as far as center. Pietrangelo. And the Blues are able to dump it in. Here's Oduya for Hossa. He's able to elude a check at center.
Good thing that was Steen.
Yeah. Here's a chance for Hossa, but that shot never got through. A nice move off the board by Pietrangelo. He cleared it to center. Here come the Blues. Steen with a wrist shot into the glove of Corey Crawford.
Now we're going to go back to the power play, and from our Xfinity telestrator. Now, Jonathan Toews is going to move this puck down. Now what happens is, what usually happens, this player will pop out, and then Patrick Sharp will come backdoor to give an option to Patrick Kane. But look at Patrick Sharp. He's staying to the outside, so it almost becomes a 4-on-4 on half the ice. There's got to be more movement. It's got to be a timing play. Yes, it's a bang-bang play, but in that situation, really, there isn't many options unless Patrick Kane takes the puck to the net himself or he forces it. So again, just a little bit out of sync, but that might be something you might want to go to school on if you're the Blackhawks. You get another opportunity on the power play.
Bollig gets into the zone with a long shot that's kicked aside by Halak. And then in the corner, big hit's going to lead to a penalty. Polak gave a rough ride to Kruger. And now a gathering. Bollig got into the neighborhood quickly. And now the gloves are off. And looks like Polak, with the jersey pulled up over his head, took a couple of shots. Now Jackman came over and drifted Shaw one right in the yap.
Yeah, Andrew Shaw was given the business to Vladimir Tarasenko, and then Shaw came in. And then Seabrook got right in the middle of it as well.
So look at the bemused or the puzzled look by Jackman. He's been told to head to the box. So the Blackhawks are going to get a power play, it appears, after a bad hit from Polak on Kruger.
Time now for our BMO Harris Bank check replays. Yes, a physical game. Andrew Shaw on Barrett Jackman. Brent Seabrook on David Backes. And then Brian Bickle on Vladimir Tarasenko. Here's the penalty. A little push in the back of the head on Kruger by Polak, and then Bollig comes in. Jackman comes in. And then everybody's in the middle. And Jackman gets the extra pat for that shot he gave to Shaw while Shaw was tangled up with Tarasenko.
So the Hawks, who were just denied a few minutes back on a power play, get another chance here to regain the lead. Patrick Sharp able to work his way in deep. He'll spin it back to Keith. Now Toews with a shot. Never got through. A good block by Bouwmeester. Now the Hawks win a board battle, but Shaw's pass out of the reach of Sharp. Here comes Sharp into the St. Louis zone to Toews. Around a check right to the middle. Got it to Kane. His shot put off by Halak on the short side. The rebound to Steen. And Alexander Steen fires along with it. That's blockered away by Crawford. Patrick Kane with a minute of power play time. Shaw spins it for Toews. He's checked. And the Blues win the puck, but can't get it past Sharp. His long blast, and tipped wide by Shaw. The Blues get the carom.
You're shooting for a redirect there. Penalty coming up.
Oshie and Shaw gave him a rough ride as he cleared it. So now the Hawks' remaining power play time negated, and eventually the Blues will get a man advantage.
Well, TJ Oshie's the guy that cleared that puck. And from our Xfinity telestrator, there is TJ Oshie. Here comes Andrew Shaw. Late hit. Not a good penalty to take when your team's on a power play. It was just a little late. That was it. It was shoulder to shoulder, but just late. And I think Oshie certainly sold that, no question.
All right, 4 skaters aside. Here's Bouwmeester, and it's soaked up by Corey Crawford.
7:33.
So in another 37, the Blues are going to get an extra man opportunity. They have scored once tonight in 2 previous power plays. Now Lenny, unsure where to go with this one against the Schwartz forecheck. Lenny able to work his way all the way into the zone, then too much traffic. And Jaden Schwartz will drop it back. Shattenkirk had a misstep, but able to recover the puck. And Schwartz up the left side. Leopold heading for the net. Schwartz shot it, and Crawford stopped it. Jaden Schwartz, one of the guys that Ken Hitchcock was talking about this morning, that they're looking for a little bit more from. Both he and another youngster, Tarasenko. Talked about that scoring by committee and a lot of veteran proven talent up front for the St. Louis Blues, but these are 2 young guys that Hitchcock really feels that they need to be as productive as they want offensively. And hey, he's been happy with their offense. We told you they've been averaging 4 goals a game in the early stages here, but he thinks there's a little bit more to give from those 2 kids.
A little energy and taking some of the offensive pressure off. Good play there by Hjalmarsson to get it to Kruger. It's like kind of like Andrew Shaw, giving you a little bit of a different look. Younger guy, give you some energy. And play really in any situation under Coach Keir.
Meanwhile, as you might have seen, the Blues penalty over there on the power play now. A good bit of board work from Kruger, and they're able to clear the zone. Jay Bouwmeester sends it in. Berglund tapped it deep. Oshie trying to pry it out of the corner. Could not. Now chased down by Taves. Couldn't get it past Pietrangelo. Bouwmeester. Now Schiffswann, a save by Crawford, loose in front. Hawks able to jam it to the boards. Nice play by Taves. He then chased it down. He's 1 against 1. Taves trying to move in. And Pietrangelo with a good stick. 15 for the Blues power play. Stewart gains the line around Keith, but a good cut across by Handzus. And now Stewart dropped it back, taken away by Handzus. And the Chicago penalty over now. Both teams are back at full strength. Seabrook. Now it's taken away by the Blues. A chance, a shot, and a save by Crawford after a Chicago turnover to Tarasenko. Back comes Sharp, but he lost it as he got to the line. Leopold taken away. Now Tarasenko to Stewart. And the Blues will send it in. Halfway through the 3rd period now. In a 2-2 tilt. Keith goes to an open wing, and nobody there for St. Louis to be able to keep it in. Now Sobotka picks his way into the zone, dropped it to Schwartz. Put it to the trailing Jackman, and a good kick away by Saad, even though he'd lost his stick. But in the right spot defensively, Shaw to the other end. He's checked, carried on Nordstrom. And Steen for the Blues. Could not advance it. Jackman moved it ahead. Steen chased it down. Hjalmarsson with him. He's able to block a centering attempt.
Good play there from Hjalmarsson, coming all the way over across.
A keep by the Blues. Here's Bouwmeester. A long shot is off the leg of Oduya. Oshie waited a little too long. That would have been offside to go back and tag up, so play continues. Taves gains the line. Little stop and go move. Now a centering pass. Oh, and the stick of Bickell was lifted as he was moving right up the middle. It's shot back the other way, icing St. Louis.
Well, there's that opportunity for Vladimir Tarasenko. And from our captain, Morgan RoboCam, the opportunity. Jay Bouwmeester walking in on that power play. Crawford battling in front. Players falling all over the place. A good hit there at the end of that shift by Seabrook on Backus.
Kane for Bickell, but he was covered. And it's taken now by Keith. Kane checked at center. Brookbank put it in there as both teams are changing. Tarasenko with goals in 4 straight games cleared it into Berglund. Berglund shot from a tough angle, and Crawford nearly pulled off the post and came to Pietrangelo, waiting, wiring. Oh, Crawford able to slide to his left beautifully. It's held into Berglund. He couldn't get rid of an attempt. And now a keep at the line by the Blues. Brookbank will try this side. And it gets out.
Crawford got tangled up with Schwartz after that great play on Alex Pietrangelo. Now the official having words with Crawford behind the play.
All right, now the Blues back in. Stewart in on Oduya, shooting, and a save by Crawford. He wanted to play that to the other side, but missed it with his stick. And luckily it stayed under his pads. We're down to 7 minutes remaining in regulation. It's tied in Chicago.
Time now for our GMC professional grade save, and Corey Crawford. This is a beauty right there on Alex Pietrangelo. Then he has to find the puck. He gets tangled up there with Jaden Schwartz behind the plate. He looks at the referee like, what's going on? And then the puck comes right back at him.
So all of a sudden the Blues have had the shot lead. You see Corey's made 25 saves. Hawks have had 24 shots so far tonight. But 13 of those came in the first period. So since then, offense been very sporadic for the home side. Nordstrom couldn't pry it off the boards. Stewart did. Now taken by Roy with a quick move, and he shot it just wide of the near post. Payarvi battling with Brookbank. It squirts free to Leddy. And now the Hawks. Saad gains the line, but there's that back pressure again. Now it's carried on by Kane. He shoots. Oh, good stop. Might have been blocked actually out in front of the net. And Kane working the boards. His pass taken away and cleared to center.
Yeah, that was Shattenkirk with the block shot on Kane.
Here's Bickell looking to pick up some speed. He Chases in deep and picked it up against Backus. Well, the puck jammed back to center. And Sobotka hit hard by Oduya along the boards to separate him from the puck. Bickle to Kane. Cleared it for Bickle, who kicks to the stick, but Pietrangelo with a good stick again. Jackman cleared it out of there. Down to 5 minutes remaining in the third period. Now the Blues get it deep into the Hawk zone. Berglund. There was a broken stick on the ice that jammed things up, and now a keep by Leopold. Threw it into the other corner. And now taken by Keith. Duncan Keith moved it to Marian Hossa. He's got a goal tonight. Hossa hangs on, shooting. A tough angle. It was stopped by Halak. Now Hossa to Handzus. A wrister is blocked by Halak. Hossa able to get it back. He leaves it for Sharp. Now Leopold for St. Louis. Harvey bounced it out to center. No icing here, so Halak out to play it. And now the race back into the Hawk zone, and Stewart tried to center. The stick of Roy was lifted nicely by Shaw. Saad the other way to Peary. He couldn't quite reach it. Brandon Peary, who earlier tonight scored his first NHL goal in his 9th game in the league. Now Shaw got spun around by Backus. Held in Jalmerson. Shaw trying to slip it in front. Pietrangelo picked it off, and Roy got it out of there.
Well, not a lot of room, so you don't want to turn down any opportunities when you have lanes to get the puck to the net.
Ruger got wrapped up in the corner, and Blues able to get it out. Nordstrom gains the line. Oh, then a big hit took Hossa right off the puck. Now Sobotka to the corner. Able to hang on, dropped it back. Here's a centering attempt. Good stick, Jalmerson. It's up and out of play. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the third. The Blues, a late goal, stunned the Hawks last week. Can they reverse? Really, for a long stretch, he's gotten a little bit of ice time here in the third. And he played in the first, but very little in the second. So he's only had about 9+ minutes of ice time. And now in a game situation, he was out there late. But the issue is still very much in doubt. Check it to center ice by Polak, stepping up on Nordstrom. Here's Schwartz getting in against Seabrook. Keith. Headed to the right wing boards. Hossa's pass just out of Nordstrom's reach. And Berglund for the Blues. Now starts them back. They'll change on the dump in. 2 minutes remaining in the third. Mentioned that the Hawks goals from Hossa and Peary tonight. The Blues tallies from Backus and Steen. Twice in this game the Hawks have taken the lead, and twice the Blues have gotten the tying goal. And now with 100 seconds remaining, it's 2 each. Pietrangelo will put it in. Here's Oduya to Jalmerson. We'll dump it in as the Hawks complete a change. Shattenkirk up the board. Sabotka getting it out. And it winds up out of play.
Well, Blackhawk fans, come out to Hawthorne Racecourse this Saturday, October 19th. I'll be there for your last chance to win a VIP trip to the Breeders' Cup in Los Angeles at Santa Anita Park, courtesy of ExpressBet.com. Visit ChicagoBlackhawks.com for more information.
That's Saturday. Get out and see Eddie O before you come here to the United Center. One of those great 6 o'clock starts. You're going to have to be in hustle mode on Saturday, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll find our way from from Hawthorne over to the United Center on Saturday.
Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Blackhawks. You mentioned the game on Saturday night when Dave Bolin and the Maple Leafs are here. And then we go down through Florida Tuesday against the Panthers and in Tampa on Thursday. And that is the long-awaited mother's trip. At least I know one mother that's been long-awaiting it. But I'm sure it'll be a great time for all the moms to get a chance to travel with their sons and get another taste of what life on the road is like in the NHL. Right now the draw.
1 minute remaining regulation time.
As we get down to the final minute of the third. Direct pass from Crawford to Sharp. He fires it ahead looking for Hossa. And here comes Halak out. Didn't have to because Bouwmeester got there in time. Sharp steps back in. Now Steen able to hoist it. Schwartz for the Blues. Hangs on. Now dropped it back, but didn't connect with Berglund. Down to a dozen left. This one bounced into Chicago ice. Heath looking to run out the remaining time, and he'll succeed in that. And we have played 60 minutes in the UC tonight. The Blackhawks had 13 shots in the first period. They've had only 14 more since. And it's 2-2 at the end of 3. The Hawks outshot 11-8 in the third and 27-26 in the game. The slight St. Louis shooting edge. Before those pucks have gone in, let's take a look at how we got to OT.
Well, we saw Brandon Perry's first National Hockey League goal to start us off. Let's look at it again. Great pass there from Marian Hossa. 1-0 lead for the Hawks. But then on a power play, Jay Bouwmeester, double deflection redirected by David Backes. Into the second period, 1-1. And then Marian Hossa gets the play from Nicholas Hjalmarsson. Little half slapper, beats Yaroslav Halak. 2-1. But then Alexander Steen redirects his puck, a double deflection, actually off the stick of Duncan Keith. No scoring in the third as we get ready for overtime.
Well, that Hawks power play with really a number of opportunities that he throughout this game, really in the second and third periods, and an opportunity to give themselves a little cushion. And I'm not sure you give a passing grade to what you've seen of the 4 power plays for Chicago.
Yeah, you know, give credit. You mentioned it, Pat. I mean, St. Louis is PK has struggled here the last handful of games, but they got in some shooting lanes, and the Hawks had some looks, but you know, nothing consistent. Not shot, rebound, second chance, and then come right back. A lot of one and done or block shot, or we'll see what happens here 4-on-4 in overtime.
And interesting that it's not Taves and Kane, it's Taves and Saad to open up OT here for Quenneville. Backes is out there with Steen for St. Louis. Here's Hjalmarsson to Oduya. Backes going for a quick change. Out comes Berglund, who tipped that pass, but it's carried on. Here's a chance for Saad. Big save. Halak rebound. He's able to cover. Boy, Taves lurking, just couldn't quite reach that rebound before Halak noticed it and smothered it.
Boy, how often do we talk about it, Pat? You want to score, you got to get to the net. But what a reception there by Brandon Saad. Kicks it from his right skate, settles it down, fires a shot. Good save, and the nurse Taves right in front. And look at Saad following up. Look at Taves putting on the brakes, hoping for a rebound. It's there. He just kind of skated by it, Pat. It just jumped over his stick a second. But you love the thought process of the captain, and a good shot there from Brandon Saad.
Now Sharp and Hossa next up for Quenneville. Sobotka and Oshie, the Blues forwards, and here they come. Polak gets it in. Roman Polak. They'll leave it in the corner. Keith takes it back. Patrick Sharp to Hossa. Hossa working his way in, but lots of back pressure again from Sobotka that time.
Good play there by Keith. Oshie had something going up those right wing boards.
Oshie in for Sobotka. Walks up the middle. His shot off the skate of Duncan Keith. Now Oshie getting it back. Oshie leaves it in the corner. And Leopold did well to keep control of that puck when he was taken down. If he loses that, the Hawks might be off a little bit, but Leopold now back for the Blues. Cleared it into the corner. Here's a centering pass knocked away before reaching Leopold. And the Blues able to keep control. Shattenkirk with a long one. Never got through. Seabrook made the block. And 2 minutes have gone by here in extra time. Berglund steps in, trying to get to the goal. Shooting good left pad from Crawford. Rebound held in Pietrangelo. Rolled it in behind. Schwartz couldn't quite get there. Oduya working hard. Schwartz got control of it. Then Oduya stole it back and gets things settled down for the home team. Patrick Kane in his first overtime shift halfway through it. He's out with Taves this time. Trying to walk around and check. He did. Kane hangs out. There's the trailer. Leddy. And a save with a blocker by Halak. Held into Leddy. Put it across to Seabrook. Taves lost it as he tried to get to the middle. And Pietrangelo cleared it into the Blackhawk zone. Roy dropped it. Bouwmeester gave it back to Roy, but it jumped loose. And 2 minutes remain in overtime. Now Taves nearly lost it, then did. Steen stripped, and back as he was stripped of it by Chalmers, and then a shot. Oh, off the goalpost. Jackman blew it by the stick side of Crawford, but it hit the far post. So a near miss for the Blues to get the winner. Here's Jackman, who missed by a couple inches from winning it. Backus gets in. Dropped it for Steen. Steen said, oh, we missed an open Polak in the middle. And 75 remaining in overtime. That's an offside play as Saad preceded the puck over the line.
Well, there's Barrett Jackman with the shot. Screen in front of the net. Right off the right post in behind Corey Crawford. There you get a great look. Crawford didn't see that until the puck was right on top of him because of the net front presence.
1-1-1 left in period 4. Here's the draw. Shattenkirk. Now cleared it ahead.
1 minute remaining in the overtime.
Leopold.
1 minute.
Into the corner, Sobotka. He's hit hard by Seabrook, and the official got locked up in the traffic there, but the Blues dig it out. They want Leopold in front. Saboka's got it. And Seabrook greets him again, but Saboka held it. Couldn't get the pass through Shaw, however. Held in. No, it wasn't by Shattenkirk, who's got to scurry back. Here's Oshie. Gains the line. A nice spinning move. He walks to the middle. Good poke check by Crawford. Oh, Oshie with a great last-second rush. Denied by Crawford. Here's Kane to the other end. Centered it. Good stick there from Halak, who tipped it free. 15 left. As the puck is at center with Hjalmarsson. Now he looks ahead. Hossa well covered at the line. Got spun off of it, and that's going to finish extra time in the United Center tonight. So in overtime, the Blues had 1 shot on goal. The Blackhawks had 3. And we'll go to a shootout when we come back. Welcome back to West Madison Street, where these two bitter rivals will head to a shootout to decide who gets the second point in the standings. And there were some opportunities to win it in the 5-minute overtime.
Yeah, a couple of good looks on both sides. Brandon Saad with the chance. Second chance opportunity denied with Jonathan Toews right there. Here comes Patrick Berglund. Good stop from Corey Crawford. Good help from Johnny Oduya. Very well, thank you. There's Nick Leddy. Big rebound opportunity. And then Barrett Jackman off the post. And there you see the two netminders. Halak, then Crawford.
Whose numbers, really, the first only a couple of weeks into the season, they're remarkably similar so far for Crawford and Halak. The Blackhawks coming off a shootout win in Carolina the other night will go with their same lineup, which, if you didn't see that one, just as different a little bit from what Quenneville typically does. I mean, for the last few years, the first shooter for the Hawks in a shootout always was the captain, but the other night he went with Kane first. It's going to be Kane, Taves, and then Sharp again this evening for Quenneville, who elects to shoot first, and the home coach gets to decide whether to go first or second in the shootout. First up is Patrick Kane. Picks up a little speed in on Halak. Now stops almost and waits and shoots, and he missed the net.
When you pick up speed and you stop suddenly, you want the goaltender to back up and lose his angle. And Halak doesn't bite. And all Patrick Kane does is miss the net on that short side.
So T.J. Oshie, you see he's had great shootout numbers. He's first up for Hitchcock, moving slowly. Oshie to the forehand. Oh, wow, he got Crawford down and finished it. And he has been a great shootout performer in his career.
Well, the 3 shots in Carolina were all shots. Corey Crawford stopped them all. And here T.J. Oshie goes to the deke.
So now to the top of the second inning, and the captain is next up for Quenneville. Taves right up the middle, stick handling, and a right pad from Halak.
Same move that Johnny made the other night in Carolina. Fakes it a backhand, goes back to the forehand, and misses.
Well, now a must-save situation for Corey Crawford. You see Steen is next up. Alexander Steen goes wide. Now back to the middle, shooting. Crawford kept his team in it. So now Patrick Sharp has to score here for the Hawks to have a chance. Sharp in on Halak. Stick handles. Halak makes the save. He goes 3 for 3 in the shootout, and St. Louis has picked up the extra point and wins the game in a shootout tonight. So the Blues raise their record to 5-1. The Hawks go to 4-1-2. And each team with 10 standings points. So far, our Lexus Pursuing Perfection player of the game is TJ Oshie, who utilized that great sequence of moves to get Crawford down and lead off the scoring in the shootout. And his goal, the difference in the game. So he is our Lexus Pursuing Perfection player of the game. For our terrific CSN crew and for Eddie Olczyk, this is Pat Foley, hoping you enjoyed the broadcast. In spite of the outcome, which was St. Louis 3, Chicago 2 in a shootout, we'll see you again on Saturday night from West Madison Street. So long, everyone.